Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how a guy like me ended up here. About to review another GVM product, even though I swore I never would. Well, I guess it's just too hard for me to quit you, GVM. My own brutal and honest opinions as always. This is new to me. Hello world, Stephen Michael Zach here, and yes, today I am trying to be a relevant and cool hip YouTuber. By the way, never do this. Your audio sounds like ass. Not the way that this tool is supposed to be used. So, with that little lecture out of the way, today we're looking at the GVM SD300B Aro. These names are getting way too long, please shorten them. But with that said, it will cost you this much at the time of the recording of the video, and I did buy this with my own money, so these are going to be my own brutal and honest opinions as always. So let's take a look at what comes inside the box. Why do people do this? So stupid. Okay, so here we are with the unboxing here, and first off we're going to get the instructions at the top. And we are going to get the cord, and it's made of nice material. It's one of these into my regional here. And we'll go ahead and pull off the styrofoam carefully. But that's starting to go. And inside we get the reflector and the light here. Now just taking stock of how this is all together. So we do have some nice foam for the outside and foam on the inside to protect it. So very, very nice GVM. That we are finally getting some protection foam. And then we have the light itself, and that is it. There is no case with this thing. So let's take a look at the unit itself here. It is made of, again, the same kind of metal materials. You've got a knob on the side here and another knob here, which feels real good. You have a plate here. Up atop here, you have your quick release. And actually feels pretty good. And let's look around the back again. Simple knobs here. And again, you have this weird cranking sound once again. And again, it does look like you do have teeth. Although there are the teeth are much more than they were in the last one. Again, you are going to have a hard time pointing this where you want it because there are little teeth in here. That you probably can't see. I'll try to zoom in here, but there are teeth. However, this looks like it would be very easy to take off and slide in some rubber washers, so that won't be a problem. Again, you're getting kind of like this crankiness in the thing here, so that's interesting. I don't know why this is always so odd and cranky, but you're always getting like that crank sound. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. All you get is your plug, your hard toggle on off, and you get one control button here, and you get a settings button there, and that is it. Okay, so here are the controls. Now, the first thing I will tell you is I absolutely hate this dial. It makes it very hard for me to grab this with my big meaty fingers, but this is going to basically go either up to your power or your color setting, and it does click in. When you click that in, you can go all the way up to 100% there. And there's 100%. And you can go all the way down to 1% here. And this takes forever to do. Especially with this, I can't take the knob and turn it all the way. I have to make these little adjustments. So already I'm hating the plastic around this thing. It is slowing me down for sure. It does go in 0.1 increments, and 0.1 is still pretty bright. Clicking the button again, we can move to 5600 Kelvin, and this goes from all the way up to 6800 Kelvin, all the way down to 2700 Kelvin. And again, this moves in increments of 50 and you see what happens when I turn the dial. I have to actually turn it twice to get it to go. So that is just something to be aware of. That is also slowing me down. Let's go ahead and hit the settings button here. Click out of that. Hold down the settings button, and we go into language. Bluetooth, fan, and reset. Let's go into fan. And right now we are on smart. Let's go into high. And we seem to get a huge boost out of high. So that's high fan. Let's click in the fan and let's go back to smart. And let's go and see where we are. Let's hold down this button again. And that was 14% power, it says. So this does not feel like 14% power. Let's go all the way up to 100 here. So here's 100 power. Let's go ahead and hold this down again. And you do have to wait. Fan, and then we'll go into high. And we are in high mode, and this seems to give you a little bit of a boost when you go into high mode. You are getting that boost that the GVM SD300 gives you, so that's interesting. But you are also getting the fan ramping up as well. Not too bad. I'll walk away from the fan to see how it sounds. So I just stepped back about 4 or 5 feet, 4 or 5 inches, and the fan is not too bad. It is ramping up, and it will progressively ramp up. So let's go back into fan. Let's hold this down. And already I hate this stupid plastic thing. We'll go into fan, and let's go into silent mode. And silent mode is going to cut you down pretty significantly, as you can see. Let's focus on that. There is your silent mode there. Let's go ahead and go back into fan mode. And let's go into high mode just so you can see the difference. Come on. Focus on what I'm telling you to. And there is your high mode right there. And then let's go into our normal mode. Click on fan, and we'll just click on smart mode. And there we go. That seems to keep it at its highest setting. So I'm not sure whether we're getting more. We'll do a light test so you can see. But that is the fan mode. You've got your reset. Language you'll never touch. Let's go into Bluetooth. And this is just a Bluetooth reset. You can click on Bluetooth state, open or close. You could turn off your Bluetooth or turn it on. And you can reset your Bluetooth for the app. I do not cover apps. So let's get this thing up and let's test the color and all of that fun stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the unit itself. Now, one of my main problems was the fact that the original unit had teeth. It made it very hard to kind of point this in the direction that you wanted it to go. And you'll be happy to know that they've added more teeth. So now it's only going to knock you off like maybe like a milli-inch, but they added teeth to kind of fix that problem. So they've added more, so it doesn't matter. Let's see if I can actually get this caught in between two. It's really a small amount. It's going to adjust, not anything that's going to make your life a living hell. So they did actually fix that. Of course, I still will be dropping a rubber washer in here so that I have full control, full and exact control. But that is how they rectified that problem by adding more teeth in here. Now let's swing around, and to let you know, you do not need to tighten both of these. This one is completely loose and it is not going anywhere. So you only need to tighten one of these. And that is actually just coming from my from the yoke. So there you go, there you have it. That is actually quite nice. Let's take a look at how the Bowen's dish goes on. And goes on very well. There's a lot of play there, but that's fine. The release is quite nice. So there you go. No complaints there. Now let's go ahead and plug this in. And I will say that while it's not difficult to pull this out, it still can come loose. So you will need to take like an A-clamp and clamp it up here, or do what I like to do. I like to kind of loop it here and then loop it back here. So if anyone steps on it, it's gonna get taut here and not pull the cable out. So that is just a quick fix if you do not have an A-clamp, or you can A-clamp it to the frame and just give yourself a little bit of slack here. Okay, so here we are. The light is 3 meters away, and let's go ahead and take a look at beam angle without the reflector. And this looks pretty good. Nice fall off, not a big problem here. So far that looks okay. I am getting that little shadowing in the center. And that again is just not sure if that's just my light reflecting off something or whether it's actually coming from the lights. I do see it quite a bit, so it makes me think that something is reflecting off the light, something in my studio. So not something to be too crazy aware of right there. And here we are with the reflector, and right away things change. There is a bit of a fall off there, and it's not the most even beam I've seen in my life, although that might just be because I don't have a lot of room in here. But that is what the beam looks like. So there you go, there you have it. So let's go ahead, let's grab the spectrometer, let's get some readings. We are at 100% at 5600 Kelvin. Now I know this is gonna look a little weird because I shoot at 3900 Kelvin on my cameras here, but let's check this out. And let's go center here without anything. And have to turn my spectrometer on for it to work. All right, and let's go ahead and let's get a reading here. So we are at 5,546 K. We're at a 0.9 green. We're at 1,460 lux, and the DUV of negative 0.0027. And the TLCI is 99. So here we are now at 50%. And let's go ahead and get a reading at 50%. And we are at 5560K. We are at now a 1.2 green, a lux of 750, a delta UV of negative 0.0035, and a TLCI of 99. So already at 50%, we have lost tremendous light quality. We went really far shifting toward to a 1.2 green, and we lost a lot of lux. And the delta UV is even more off the blanking curve. Okay, let's grab this at 20%, and we have skewed even further. We are now at 5586, but we are at a 1.4 green. We're at a 362 lux, negative 0.0044, and a TLC of 99. So as this thing gets dimmer, the light quality gets worse. And we'll go ahead to 10% here. And we are at 5611K. We are at 1.5 green. We are at 212 lux. We are at a negative 0.0048, and a TLCI just went down to a 98. So as you can see, as this dims the lighting quality, it gets further off the planking curve, it gets worse. And let's go ahead and hit this up at 1% here. Let's see if my monitor is going to actually read the 1%. And we're at 5609. We're at a 1.7 green. Lux is 83.4. Our delta UV is negative 0.0053, and a TLCI of 98. Let's slap on the dish and see if we get anything better. Okay, here we are with dish on, and let's go to the center here. Let's see if I am about center here, roughly. And we are getting 5393. We're getting a 0.6 green, we're getting 10,100 lux, and we're on a delta UV of negative 0.0017 and a TLCI of 99. So already this is skewing a little bit better with the dish on, so I do believe they want you to use the dish here. So we'll go to the 50% here, and we're at a 5438, and we're at a 0.9 green, and we're now at 5,490 lux. We're at a negative 0.0026 and a TLC of 99. So again, we are starting to lose as we go down. Here we are at 20%, and we're at a 5453, and we have a 1.2 green. We're at 2,910 lux, negative 0.0037, and a TLCI of 98. So as you can see, as we go down, we lose color quality in daylight. And I will test a little bit of the tungsten, but I have a feeling it's going to be exactly the same. So I am seeing that little reflection here, that little like almost looks like it's coming from the LED. I do see it on a lot of lights. Like I said, I don't know if it's because there's something reflecting here, but I've tried to kind of block it off. It seems like, yes, it does come from the LEDs. So just note that certain light fixtures will have like some weird patterning in the center there. So let's get a reading at 3200 Kelvin at 100%, and we're at 3299K. We're at a 0.5 green. Our lux is 14,410, and the delta UV is negative 0.0028 with a TLCI of 99. So already, meh, not great. And here we are at 50%. And we're getting a 3286K. We are at a 0.8 green, and the lux is 7,104. Nope, that's wrong. Okay, so here we are at, I believe it's 50% power. We're getting a 3286K, a 0.8 green, a 741 lux, and we're at the delta UV of negative 0.0037 and a TLCI of 99. So already massively off the planking curve. I am not going to go any lower than 50% here in the essence of time. Let's go ahead and measure this at 50% with this on, with the thing on, and then I'll go up to 100% because I'm sensing a pattern here. So with this on, we're getting 3244K. We're getting a 0.8 green. We're getting a 56. We're getting 5,620 lux. We're getting a negative 0.0036 and a TLCI of 99. Let's go up to 100 here because I think you will get the gist of it. And I'm not seeing that patterning that I was seeing here before, that reflection of a LED, that extra light here. So that might be just in the daylight mode, something going on there. Okay, we're at 3249. We are at a CCT of 0.6 green. We have 8,990 lux, and we're at a delta UV of negative 0.0028 and a TLCI of 99. So yes, as you can see, this thing is kind of all over the map. As you dim it, you are actually losing quality. It is actually going further off the delta UV. So you're losing accuracy with this light. And keep in mind, this light does not have plus minus green, something that I feel that is sorely missing from this unit and any other unit in 2025. At this point, every bicolor light should have plus minus green magenta shift. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons, starting off with the cons, and that is this sucker, lighting-wise, is all over the map. Every time you dim it, you are losing quality, you are losing color quality, you are losing your delta UV is getting worse. It is just kind of all over the map, no matter whether, regardless of the CCT. So that is a huge negative. This thing just is not color accurate at all. It really feels like they went for design over accuracy, over putting accurate chips in here. So while I do like the design, that is a huge elephant in the room. Also, the fan, whether it's on smart mode or high mode, if you start in smart mode, and you leave this thing on for a while, it is going to ramp up to high mode and never switch off. So that is, just know that the longer you use this, the quicker it's going to get to that high mode. Now, I will say that silent mode is very silent and has a very even keel, but you are losing a considerable amount of power when you go into that quiet mode. And then that is pretty much it. There is nothing in here. It does not come with a case. So again, I guess they're gearing this towards your studio. So there you go. There you have it. And let's talk about this back dial here. This back dial drives me absolutely crazy. They put like this plastic thing here, so I can't physically grab the button. I have to kind of grab the sides, and these things are actually like digging. They're not sharp, but they are digging into my fingers, and it does hurt my fingers. So if I were keeping this, the first thing I would do was take a little hacksaw or Dremel, and I would cut these little finger guards off here. They're awful. That's a bad design. It hurts. The other thing is, when you turn the dial, you have to kind of turn it twice. You have to do 2 clicks, 2 little micro clicks, otherwise it doesn't change. So that makes it a little bit slower. And you have to hold down this button in order to get to the menu system, when I really wish you could just click it and it would go. So other than that, those are some of the negatives here. Now, another negative, which will also lead into the positive, is, again, we get teeth here. So again, with teeth, it's kind of hard to kind of point this light where you want it to go. However, Moving into the pros, they've added more teeth. So now it's really a finite kind of, it bumps you off just ever so slightly to the point where I don't think it's going to be a problem. And you have that added protection of if you put a heavy modifier on this, it's not going to drag it down, although it's not going to drag it down anyway, because you have 1, 2 locks. And I would say for basic things, you don't even have to lock the second one. You could lock one side and be completely fine with that. The locking mechanism works very, very, very well in this. Again, I'm still going to put rubber washers into these so I have full control, but that is just something easy that you can do, especially with GVM. You could definitely take this apart and fix it. So that is a huge plus. I will say that I do like the sleek design. I love the fact that these are so much lighter than the last generation. The last generation was just overbuilt and too heavy, and this is very, very, very nice. I do like the release up here. It's nice and big. You can find it in the dark. I like the new reflector style, and I like the fact that the cob is pushed more inward, giving you a small and compact unit here. So there you go, there you have it. And again, this is just literally a 1 cord. You plug it in and you go. Now, this could be either a negative or a positive, is the fact that the controls are up on the head, so you will have to constantly either climb up and down, or you will have to use the GVM app to control this, which it does have. Again, I do not review apps because I don't need all of those apps constantly on my phone. I'm constantly downloading and getting rid of apps. So I do not review apps. I'll leave a link below if I find somebody with who goes through the app. But just know I don't do apps anymore. So getting back to the positives, this thing is light, it's small, it's got a nice screen. So there you go, there you have it. The build quality is very nice. They seem to have just about nailed that, with only a few things that they could do a little differently. So there you go, there you have it. Would I buy this? No. And that just breaks down to color quality. Again, something I didn't mention in the negatives, there is no plus minus green on this, and it is 2025, folks. If your bicolor light does not have plus minus green magenta shift, it is not worth buying. And I will go to the grave for that, as saying that. So this makes this a hard pass for me. Also, you do see like a little weird reflection when this is in daylight. There is something happening where there's like this weird pattern right in the center of the beam, so when the dish is not on, so that is something that's a little weird. I wasn't sure whether it was happening bouncing off something in my studio, but I have seen it on other lights, and after testing that out, it seems like it is actually the light fixture. So there you go, there you have it. So those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to mash that bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is new to me.